Java APIs.
Can you tell me that, sir?
There were APIs in the Netscape browser, some of which, under some definition of Java APIs, you'd call Java APIs.
And was there concern within Microsoft that the distribution of these things that you say could be called Java APIs would adversely affect Microsoft?
Our concern is always to get people to develop Windows applications, and to the degree there's other APIs people to develop to, there's some competition for the attention of developers in focusing on those APIs, but that doesn't relate to distribution.
Could I have my question read back again, please?
And was a concern with them in Microsoft the distribution of these things that you say could be called Java APIs would adversely affect Microsoft?
Could I have an answer to that question, please, sir?
No, not the distribution.
Let me ask you to look at a document that has been previously marked as Government Exhibit 349. The first message in this exhibit is an email from Paul Moritz to you and a number of other people dated July 14, 1997. Correct, sir?
That's what appears to be, yes.
Did you receive this email, sir?
I don't remember it, but I don't have any reason to doubt that I did.
Mr. Moritz writes to you in the third sentence, quote, "If we look further at Java/JFC being our major threat, then Netscape is the major distribution vehicle." Do you see that, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall Mr. Moritz telling you in words or in substance that Netscape was the major distribution vehicle for the Java/JFC threat to Microsoft?
No.
Did you believe in July of 1997 that Java/JFC was a major threat to Microsoft, as Mr. Moritz writes here?
It was a significant issue for his group in terms of where ISVs would choose to focus their development in the future.
Did you believe in July of 1997 that Java/JFC was a major threat to Microsoft?
In the form that it existed as of that day, maybe not, but if we looked at how it might be evolved in the future, we did think of it as something that competed with us for the attention of ISVs in terms of whether or not they would take advantage of the advanced features of Windows.
Do you have any understanding as to what Mr. Moritz meant when he wrote to you about Java JFC being a major threat to Microsoft?
Yeah, I just answered that.
What did you understand Mr. Moritz to mean when he says Java JFC was Microsoft's major threat?
I just answered that.
You'll have to give me an answer, Mr. Gates, because if you did answer it, it's not an answer that I can understand how it applies to the particular question I'm asking.
I said we looked at how the various runtime APIs, which was always confusing, where they were going and what they were doing, and JFC is just a term for some of those, how they might evolve in a way that would take away the focus of developers in terms of writing applications that would take unique advantage of Windows features.
I understand that you say that that was an issue for you. Why was that a major threat to Microsoft, if you have any understanding?
Well, if people stopped writing applications that took advantage of Windows runtime APIs, that would mean that users wouldn't have access to the innovative features that we were putting into Windows.
Why was that a major threat to Microsoft?
If ISVs weren't writing applications to take unique advantage of Windows, then it wouldn't show off the Windows innovation, and so users wouldn't have much reason to update Windows or to license any new versions of Windows.
You referred to JFC in a couple answers ago, and of course that's here in the memo. What does JFC stand for as you understand it?
I was always a little confused about that, and it changed over time. It stands for Java Foundation Classes.
Mr. Moritz writes here that Netscape is the major distribution vehicle for Java and Java Foundation classes. Do you see that?
That's at the end of that sentence.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You see that?
Yes.
Now, in a prior answer, you said you didn't understand how the browser was a distribution vehicle. Does this refresh your recollection that at least within Microsoft in July of 1997, Netscape was viewed as the major distribution vehicle for Java?
Not for Java. And in my view, the browser wasn't a key distribution channel. Moritz may or may not have agreed with that, but you can always ship the runtime with the applications.
Mr. Moritz here says Netscape is the major distribution vehicle. Now, it's clear to you, is it not, sir, that he means the major distribution vehicle for Java and Java Foundation classes?
He doesn't mean for Java.
Well, sir, he says,
I've told you many times about the use of the word Java, and I'm not sure you heard me. When people use the word Java, they don't mean just Java.
So when Mr. Moritz here used the word Java in this email that you say you don't recall receiving, you're telling me that he meant something other than just Java.
I bet he meant some runtime APIs, not Java.
Let's assume that you're right. Let's assume that when he talks about Java, he means Java runtime APIs. Would you then agree that what he is saying here is that Netscape is the major distribution vehicle for Java runtime APIs and Java Foundation classes?
That appears to be what he's saying in this email.
And what was Mr. Moritz's position in July of 1997?
Asked and answered too many times.
I've answered this 3 times.
I'm not sure you did as to this particular point in time, and one of the things that you have told me is that the title's changed. And so one of the things I want to be sure the record is clear on is what Mr. Moritz's position was as of the time of this key document.
You can cut and paste the transcript any way you want in your briefs and in your opening and closing argument. The witness has testified as to his title many times.
Mr. Gates, what was Mr. Moritz's title on July 14th, 1997?
I think Group Vice President.
What was he Group Vice President of?
I don't know what the title would have said after that, but he managed the group that contained all of our Windows activities.
Was he Group Vice President for Platforms?
I'm not sure. I'm sure if it contained the word platforms, it didn't just say platforms, because he's got Office and some other things also.
But within his responsibilities would have been Windows.
That's right.
Let me ask you to look at a document that has been marked as Government Exhibit 374.
Thank you.
This is an email to you from Todd Nielsen dated August 25, 1997, with copies to Brad Chase. Did you receive this email, sir?
I don't remember receiving it, but I don't have any reason to doubt that I did.
Let me ask you to look at the 7th paragraph down. It's the 3rd paragraph from the bottom. The last sentence that says, quote, "So we are just proactively trying to put obstacles in Sun's path and get anyone that wants to write in Java to use J/direct and target Windows directly." Close quote. See that, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall being told in or about August of 1997 that Microsoft was trying to put obstacles in Sun's path and get anyone that wants to write in Java to use J/direct and target Windows directly?
No.
Do you know why Microsoft was trying to put, quote, obstacles in Sun's path, close quote?
I don't know what that means.
Do you know why Microsoft was trying to get anyone that wants to write in Java to use JDirect?
Yes.
Why was that?
Because JDirect allows you to make calls that show off the unique innovations in Windows and therefore make Windows more attractive.
Was there any reason other than that Microsoft wanted to get anyone that wants to write in Java to use JDirect.
Yes.
What?
Well, there's a benefit to us if people are showing off Windows and it increases Windows popularity. That helps us with the other applications we write for Windows as well, including Microsoft Office.
How is that so?
Because Microsoft Office is targeted to Windows, we get a benefit that goes even beyond increased sales of Windows if we manage to popularize Windows.
Why is that?
Because they can buy Office.
Well, they can buy Office and use it on the Mac too, can't they? Since you didn't cancel Mac Office.
We have a much wider set of applications available for the Windows platform than any other platform. And we have more frequent updates of products like Office on the Windows platform. It's a more powerful version, the Windows version, and it therefore our revenue per unit is somewhat higher.
You mean the version of Office for Windows is more powerful than the version of Office for Mac? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we have Office Pro.
What is JDirect?
JDirect is a way of allowing Java language code to call native OS functionality. It's a fairly clever thing that we have done, and others now use that term to refer to it when they let their OS functionality show through as well.
You have referred to Java runtimes. Are there JDirect runtimes?
There's a thunk, but I don't know if you'd call it a runtime or not. It's a thunk.
Would you define for me what the difference is in your mind between a thunk and a runtime?
A thunk is a small piece of runtime that remaps parameters and calling conventions in such a way to be able to pass along an API call to another piece of runtime.
Does, or I should say, when was JDirect developed by Microsoft?
I'm not sure.
Approximately.
I don't know. I mean,
Why was JDirect developed by Microsoft?
to make it easy for people who choose the Java language to call the unique runtime features in various operating systems, including Windows.
Why do you want people to write in JDirect as opposed to Java?
They are writing in Java. You only use JDirect if you write in Java.
Well, what Mr. Nielsen says is that Microsoft is trying to get anyone that wants to write in Java to use JDirect. Do you see that?
That's right. And that
And
means
why?
writing in Java.
And why do you want to get anyone who wants to write in Java to use JDirect?
Because that gives them a way of calling unique Windows APIs that allow us to show off the innovative features in Windows.
Couldn't you do that by having them simply write in Java and you providing the thunk separately?
The name of the thunk is JDirect. I guess we could have another thunk and call it something other than JDirect, and that would be another way that they could do it. But we didn't choose to do it twice.
No, you didn't choose to do it twice. That's not my question, Mr. Gates. My question is why you were trying to get program developers, independent programming people, to use JDirect? Why were you trying to get them to do that?
Certainly asked and answered.
Because it allows them to get at the unique API functionality that's in the Windows product and show off the innovations that we do there.
But you didn't have to.
Tell me
Have
some
them.
other way.
Well, I'm asking you. If you tell me that that's what you say is the only way that you could think of for them to do it, that's your testimony. I don't get to testify here. If I did, there have been a lot of things that I would have said along the way. But since I don't get to testify, all I get to do is ask you questions. And my question to you is whether there was a way that you were aware of at the time to let people see all of what you refer to as the functionality of Windows without getting people to write to what you refer to here to use JDirect if they wanted to write in Java.
JDirect is exactly the work we did to make it possible and reasonable for people writing in Java to call the unique Windows APIs.
Have you finished your answer?
Yes?
Okay. Now, were you aware of other ways of accomplishing the same result that you considered and rejected at the time?
What time is that?
The time that you developed JDirect.
We don't know what that time is.
Well, you may not know the exact year, but do you know were you aware when JDirect was being developed within Microsoft? Were you aware of it at the time?
I'm not sure.
Did you know it was being developed?
I'm not sure.
Did you have any discussions about the development of JDirect at the
I was
time it was
not
being
involved
developed?
in the design of JDirect.
Not asking you whether you were involved in the design of JDirect. I'm asking you whether you were aware at the time that JDirect was being developed that it was being developed.
I'm not sure.
Did you ever have any discussions with anyone about the development of JDirect at or about the time it was being developed?
I don't think so.
At the time that JDirect was being developed, did you know that people were trying to develop JDirect?
It's just a thunk.
My question is, did you know that they were trying to develop this thunk?
I doubt it.
Did you participate at all in any discussions as to what alternatives there were to the development of JDirect?
Before it was developed?
Let's start with before it was developed.
No, I don't think so.
What about during the time it was being developed?
I don't think so.
How about after it was developed?
I don't think so.
We should take a break soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Time is 2:02 p.m. We are going off the record. This is the end of tape 3 of the videotape deposition of Bill Gates.